It is Aaron Sands, and welcome to King Talk Season 3. Let's get smarter. King Talk, King Talk. Yeah, that's me. You already know it's your man's Aaron Sands, and we are back yet again with another Friday episode. You already know what it is. If it's Fridays, then it's King Talk. How we doing? How we doing? How we doing? We are back again, right on a Friday this time. As promised, I already dropped the number one episode. We discussed everything going on with that. As of this recording, we are still number one on all respective charts on Good Pods. That means entertainment news, indie news. Both of those charts simultaneously number one on there. And like I said before, the big part of that is you, the fans. Once again, I want to thank everybody who's been tuning in and turning up with me in these conversations that we've been having. But yeah, let's want to take time out to thank everybody for that. Also, we do got a lot of topics, not a lot of topics, but we do got a few topics I want to touch on and get into before we get a little bit personal about a few things that I've been kind of dealing with a little bit as of late. And, I want to see, if you guys could definitely relate to what I've been dealing with lately. And I'll definitely get into that in a little bit. But first, you already know what it is. You already know how we're going to start it off. We starting off with King Talk News. There's a couple topics, but we're going to definitely get into that right now.
What's up, world? This is the Chief Mally Mal, long live the Chief, and you're tuned in to King Talk with Mr. Aaron Sands. Don't go nowhere, baby.
All right, we're going to get into this next topic real quick. And this kind of just came off fresh, just landed on my desk and everything. It's about DJ Academics, and apparently he was in Miami. I think it was before or after Fresh and Fit interview. Guys will be on YouTube, interviewing ladies out in Miami. Apparently he was out in Miami, and what happened was he got into an argument with his girl. Apparently his girl was drunk, and they were out turning up and everything like that. And what had happened was his girl was wilding, and he had to try to put her in a place, but then she was just carrying on all crazy. At that point, she was talking about, he was just yelling at, they got it on, apparently it was on tape. He was yelling at her, talking, "Oh, why are you wilding? Stop wilding. You need to stop acting like that. I'm the prize. I'm the prize." He's yelling at her, talking about, "I'm the prize," and everything like that. And that was his shorty. So apparently that went down, and I'm looking at the video, and to be completely fair, this just dropped today as of this recording. So, there might be some more stuff that comes out after. If there is more stuff that comes out after that, then one thing we will do next week, we'll definitely cover it. But for right now, this is what I got. But I do have a lot of thoughts on this real quick. So based off the video, in which you can see it on Shade Room, because it's all over Shade Room right now. He's basically just he's yelling at this lady, this girl, trying to calm her down and everything like that. But being the fact, you already know how it is when you're smacked, you're drunk and everything like that. You start yelling, you start being belligerent, things like that. Shorty took Academics' whole hat off, threw it to the side. It was a bad look altogether on both parties, honestly. And one thing I do want to mention is this, right? It's for my guys, right? A couple things. It's for my guys. If you have to tell a lady that you're the prize in a drunken fit, you have to yell that you're the prize in a drunken fit. You're not the prize. You're not the prize. You may be a high earning dude. You know what I'm saying? You may be getting a little bit of money. You understand? Like, you may be out here getting a lot of money, more money than the $80,000 I was talking about before. You might even be in the upwards of 7 figures. But if you're not carrying yourself as a prize, then you're not a prize. You know what I'm saying? I heard something on Game of Thrones that was kind of similar, that kind of caught me, and that kind of caught my eye when I was doing prep for this particular situation. There was a Game of Thrones quote, and I believe it went like this. Oh, yeah, I believe it went like this. I'm trying to pull it up. I've seen it, but I don't have it in front of me. Also, while I'm looking this up, like the fucking podcast, by the way. You know what I'm saying? You gotta like the podcast, because we've been actually, dropping some gems and dropping some, good information out here, and trying to get y'all, on the right steps to actually handle certain situations right. So definitely like, share, and subscribe to the podcast, and spread the word. This is really important. Real shit out here. So I'm trying to see what the quote was, but I think it was along the lines of, if you have to say that you're a king, then you're not a king. And that makes sense, because kings don't need to speak. Think about this example real quick, right? You ever see an IG model, right? You have an IG model, and she comes into the room, and she has to tell people, "Oh, I'm an IG model. I'm an IG model. Link in the bio. Yes, bitch." You know what I'm saying? Shit like that. And half the room probably like, "Oh my gosh, she really is an IG model." And others would be like, "Oh, she's a regular degular." You know what I'm saying? So there's a little bit of uncertainty, a little bit of a doubt and uncertainty there. Now you're talking about like somebody. Now you say somebody like Giselle Bundchen come into the room. You know what I'm saying? Or Cindy Crawford back in the 90s or whatever like that, or Tyra Banks, Naomi Campbell back in the 90s or whatever like that. You see them walk into a room, walk into a restaurant. You don't even, there's no guessing. That's a supermodel. She doesn't have to say it. Other people will say it for her. That's a supermodel. She's lit. She's not just lit, like she's top-notch A1 supermodel. It's not a debate. Not even a little bit. Same thing with dudes. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have to do a lot better, and just not just conducting ourselves as such, but also selecting our queens. You know what I'm saying? You can't come in here. I can't do king talk and I didn't vet my queen properly. I have to make sure the people that I'm around, whether if I'm not only smashing you, but I'm also doing business with you, I have to make sure that, there's no bullshit there. You know what I'm saying? I have to make sure that if I put you in a certain situation with me, or if I bring you into a certain space, that you're going to handle yourself accordingly. You know what I'm saying? Because my standards is that I have to handle myself accordingly. You know what I'm saying? I have to handle myself at a high level if I'm going to if I'm going to be in this type of space. So I wouldn't want somebody next to me that's playing beneath those standards, and a lot of that comes down to knowing who you're dealing with, knowing who you're messing with. You understand? Now, to be fair, if you're just smashing chicks and going to clubs or whatever like that, if you're just out here fucking just to fuck, then that's one thing. This doesn't apply, because you're just smashing the smash, and that's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? You're not trying to build relationships. You're not trying to sit there and put something together that will sit there and build, that you're not trying to put something together with somebody that you can sit there and build with. You understand? So that might not apply if you're just out here smashing chicks, but it does apply if you're really trying to build with somebody. If you're trying to if you're actually when you're building with somebody, when you're planning a life with someone, you have to vet them seriously. You can't treat them like you're just fucking them. You understand? And I think the cardinal mistake that academics made was that even though he was with her, he didn't really vet her, you know. And when he vetted her, he didn't put her in those situations where, you know, you could see who that person truly is, you know. Everybody lies on the interview. Everybody could say they were out here doing this and that and the third back in 2019 or whatever like that. But if I put you in a room with people and I need you to produce, and if you can't produce, that's a problem. You know what I'm saying? And you really have to resolve that issue as a man, like not even as a prize or a king or, you know, or as they say, a high value man or whatever like that. You, as a man, you got to be able to put certain people around you that not only can help brighten your star, but you could also brighten theirs. You understand? And I feel like I failed to do that. Now, there's a lot of people saying that, oh, he don't be stepping to dudes like that. And I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, the only person I can see where he kind of backed off of, when that's a dude that he kind of like just took 2 steps back off of. Only person I could see that he did that with was Vic Mensa. And I'm gonna tell you why. At the time, when him and Vic Mensa was beefing, Academics was employed by Complex. So he was getting the bag from Complex. This was before he really started. Before he started, you know, going into like really doing like the YouTube and everything like that. So when he was getting into that space, you know, when he was in the Complex space, I feel like going back and forth with Vic Mensa, he would have had a lot to lose coming out of that, because, you know, you're with Complex. So you got to kind of deal with, you know, who's hot right now. And even though Vic Mensa was somewhat hot, he didn't, you know, you don't really want to mess that shit up. So outside of that, I don't really see him, you know, beefing with other dudes. Like, I know he had a thing with Ebro recently. You was talking about Ebro, talking about he was outside, but he, you know, kind of like jumped forward into that. So that's kind of a thing too. So I don't really see how bringing up, oh, he don't step to men like that, you know, works. You know, so I don't see that how that helps him in that situation. But what really helps is that the next person that he deals with, he needs to vet them a lot better. You know, and dudes should take this as a lesson too. Like, if you want to bring somebody around your circle or whatever, whether it's a dude you want to bring around your circle, or in this particular instance, a lady, you know what I'm saying? You got to know who you're bringing around, and you can't bring everybody with you like that. You understand? So, as for the lady, and as for his girl, like, you know, she fucked the bag up. She fucked the bag up by not handling her drink, and, you know, put him in a spot that now, you know, got him not got him publicized, but now you put him in a situation that looks bad for his brand. You understand? And if you're starting to look bad for the brand, that means you're fucking up the church's money. And if you're fucking up the church's money, guess what? You gotta go. And I ain't gonna lie to you. If that was my shorty and she was out here doing this and I had a brand that I had to protect, yeah, she gotta go too. Because now you fucking up the bag, and I'm gonna need that bag to help support us. So that's a really big thing, you know? It's a really big thing. So hopefully he vets better, and hopefully she handles herself better in certain situations, because that was an L. That was L's across the board. They all get L's across the board for that. So you know better, you gotta do better. Moral of the story. That's the King Talk Gym. Coming up next, we're gonna get into some personal stories. I got some things that I want to share. And I want to drop a couple King Talk gems along the way with that too. And hopefully somebody out there listening can relate. So, you know, stay here. We'll be back right after this. Stick around. All right, guys, let's get into it. King Talk, we back at it. It's the man's Aaron Sands. I want to get back into it real quick. So, all right. So I've been kind of dealing with some shit for a little bit, and first things first, I want to get into it. I'm not a fan of change, right? And at least bad change anyway. Good change I could do, just bad change that I'm like iffy about. You understand? So recently, I had got a offer for a new position for work. I basically do a lot of work outside of my podcasting and everything like that. And in this particular situation where I'm at, I would end up when I already accepted it, but with this issue, the new situation, I'm going to be like a manager of like my own, like, team, and then I can have them run and do things that I need them to do while I handle the big picture shit. Right. Currently this situation, the company that I'm working with, they're posing like a real relaxed, vibe where I could, come in, do my 8 to 5 or whatever like that, and, head on out. So that is really a big thing for me, because one big, when it comes down to my piece, I'm a big fan of my piece, whether it be professionally or personally. So having said that, where I'm currently at, I'm not really getting it. I'm working long hours. Granted, the money is awesome. And the money is even better where I'm going to. But at a certain point, I had to start questioning myself, because I was feeling not only burnt out physically, but also mentally as well. And you never want to be in a situation where you're working and you feel mentally burnt out and you're just done. You never want to feel that way. And I say that because a lot of people, they work. A lot of people are getting, nowadays, people are getting money online and everything like that. People are getting money on YouTube, even podcasting. But for the majority of people, they work 9 to 5s. They got to clock in. In this particular situation, I'm not clocking in, but it's kind of the same shit. Still going to work, still producing. So shout out to all my blue and my white collar workers doing their thing, grinding, putting in that time to sit there and support their family. They get overlooked a lot, and honestly, we need more of those hard workers, because everybody think money comes easy, and I hate to be the bearer of bad news, it does not. So I say that to say this. When I accepted the position, I was like really happy initially, because I'm finally getting out of the current situation, which was bringing me so much stress, so much drama, and I'm not really big on drama, at least my own drama anyway. I'm big on like watching other people's drama and everything, and actually sharing it with you guys, because it's not really my own. So that's a big thing for me. But I will say this: when you have to go somewhere and produce for 8 to 10 hours, for higher ups and everything like that, the biggest thing you want is for your mind to be clear, for your mental space to be, 100%. A lot of people say health before wealth, but that also includes mental health. So that's a big thing. As time went on, I felt really nervous about jumping into this position, because, for me personally, I've trained, but I never managed. You understand? Like, I've trained people on how to do certain things because I was able to do it so well. I can teach others, and that's how I was able to do what I need to do. However, having to lead on a daily basis and be the benchmark for that success, it's a big deal. It's a really big deal, especially when you consider, the company that you're doing it for. Now, to be fair, I can't, due to contractual obligations, I can't really speak on the company that I'm working for, but they do really big things in the financial market. That's all I can say. So, having said all of that, I was legit nervous about it. But it's always good, right? One of the big things I think about is that it's always good to have good people in your corner that can help, talk you through these things. I always feel that if you're meant to be in a certain space, you'll be there. And you'll be able to produce and do what you need to do. And I'm not gonna lie, I was a little nervous about that because even though it's a good change, it's a change that I was a little bit leery about because it was, something I'm doing completely different. So when I look at it, I was a little taken aback by it. And after a while, as time went on and, as of this recording, I literally just got back from my last day at this position. So looking at it, it's bittersweet. Leaving there is bittersweet because of all the great people I got to work with. But I know there's new challenges ahead. And for the most part, I'm ready for that because I find myself to be in a good space to know what I'm capable of, and also know that I would have never been in that position if I didn't know what I was doing. And I feel like I do. And I think I'm in a good space at this point to actually show my worth and do what I need to do. I say all of that to say this, right? Sometimes change is good. You understand? Like, change is like, even though you may feel you're not ready for it, you may feel that it's overbearing, or it's not overbearing, but it's overwhelming. Sometimes you have to take that in stride and then push forward. You'll never receive more than what you can handle in life. You know what I'm saying? So I can understand people being nervous about a new situation and doing what they have to do. But at the same time, if you have that trust and belief within yourself to actually, go out here and make those moves, then honestly, you'll be unstoppable. But you have to have that confidence to do so. And a lot of it comes from like just doing what you have to do and like having that faith within yourself to sit there and make those moves. A lot of people, they get stuck in certain situations where, they get stuck in certain positions or stuck in certain relationships or stuck in certain jobs that doesn't benefit them in the long run. And I always ask myself, why do you stick around for those? I've seen friends, family members stick around and then be loyal to the wrong things. Be loyal to a job that doesn't give a fuck about you. Be loyal to a person that wouldn't piss on you if you was on fire. So I look at that and I'm like, why do you stick around? What is possessing you to stay? You understand? And a lot of it comes down to fear of not knowing where you're going to go with certain things, fear of not knowing what's behind that door that could lead to your success, But the thing is, you wouldn't know where that door leads if you never go through it in the first place. If you never go through that door to find out what's behind it, how would you be able to figure out, what you're going to do? I think Will Smith says something that kind of caught me, like, fear doesn't live on the other side of the door, Success is over there, but you have to get through that. And then when you think about it, it's true, because once you actually decide to be like, all right, you know what, I'm going to take this leap, you realize that there was nothing to be afraid of the whole time, and what's meant for you will be for you. You understand? So I tell people, I share this story. And it may seem small in some cases, but it's really a big thing. But what I want to tell people is that don't be afraid of what's next. I was afraid of what's next at certain points, whether it be both professionally and personally, with, relationships, with certain positions, with certain people that's in my life. You understand? Like, I was afraid to cut people off. I was afraid to quit certain jobs because I really didn't know how to maneuver. I really didn't have that belief in myself to actually push forward and get what I deserve, get what's mine. But it's out there for you. And I don't really have that fear no more, at least in this situation. I don't have that fear no more to sit there and be like, oh, nah, I can't make that next step. Sometimes we got to pack that shit away and move forward, because if not, we'll still stay stuck in the past. And then the fucked up part about it is we stay stuck in these situations and then got the audacity to call it comfort. Our comfort zone. I always feel like there should be no thing as a comfort zone, because, that doesn't really build growth. It doesn't build character. It actually, honestly, leaves you stagnant. And no one ever wants to stay stagnant, because next thing you know, you wake up and you're like 50 and you're 50, 55, wondering what the hell you've done with yourself, what you've done with your life. You never want to have to second guess that shit. So if you feel like you have a move that you want to make, if you want to start that business, go start that business. If you want to take that job, go take that job. Go ask that girl out. She may tell you no. The business might fail. You might not get the job. But all of that's okay. Because guess what? You didn't die. You didn't lose your life. You understand? And the best part about it is you get to, even if you get shut down, it just gives you an opportunity just to really start back and do it over again. And go back to the drawing board and figure out, hey, how can I tweak this? How can I tweak this to my success? So that way the next time I pull up, I'm going to succeed. I told you in my Instagram post, I had to sit there and do something new, fail, do something again, fail again, and then do something again, especially with this particular podcast, which led me to be number one in 2 different categories. A lot of that took a lot of trial and error. I'm sorry. And honestly, I didn't even know what I was doing half the time. And shout out to the bro Ken, who's been doing it. He was able to help me with that. But at the same time, I had to fail. I had to have some trash episodes before, I had to come out here and actually do what I'm doing now. So honestly, yeah, go fail. Don't be afraid to do it, but do it, and then go back to the drawing board. A lot of people are afraid of failure, and that's not good. Now, it might seem like I'm rambling right now, but honestly, if one person hears this and is like, hey, I don't want to sit there and, be in the position I am, be in the position that I'm in, I want better for myself, and then they decide to go and get better, I could definitely appreciate that, because you'll be able to, you was able to find that confidence you have within yourself. And that's a really big thing. Confidence is key. Self-awareness is sexy. Remember that. That's a King Talk Gym. We'll be right back.
What's up, world? This is the Chief Mally Mal, long live the Chief. And you're tuned into King Talk with Mr. Aaron Sands. Don't go nowhere, baby.
So one of the things I want to get into first is this whole 50 Cent and his son Marquise Jackson beef. It's kind of crazy. It is real, but it's really more unfortunate to say the least. But it's understandable to an extent. For those who don't know or been living under a rock, you already know 50 Cent's son Marquise, and his pops 50 had been beefing back and forth on social media regarding the topic of child support and money. Now, a little bit of backstory: 50 Cent been paying child support for Marquise through to his mom's over the course of the past over many years when he was like growing up, and after they split. Apparently, he's basically paid for a whole home, paid for both of the kids, to go to school and do what they got to do, and also paid for, the baby mother's upkeep. You know what I'm saying? So over the course of time, there have been some, back and forth between the parents, as things happen with parents and everything like that. Especially when parents aren't really like together like that and they're just trying to co-parent, you're going to come across some issues. And the thing about that was Marquise ended up siding with his mom's on that issue, especially, when it comes down to like support and everything like that. And 50 didn't really take that too well, you know what I'm saying? Because as he said on many interviews, he was talking about how he would pull up to the house and everything, but then he would move to different locations where he wouldn't pull outside, he wouldn't come outside and things like that. So from 50's side, it seems like he's really trying to reach out to his son and everything like that, but his son is not really, is pretty apprehensive about that. You know what I'm saying? And that turned into a whole blow up, especially when you also consider he was taking pictures with Slow Bucks. And if you know Slow Bucks, you also know that 50 do not mess with him at all. Apparently, I think he's like the son or the grandson of Kenneth Supreme Griffin, McGriffin. And they had him and 50 had beef back in the days back in Queens. So basically, from what it seems like, is like you're taking pictures with the ops, and you're supposed to be, you're actually taking pictures with the father's ops, and you're supposed to be riding with family, but then you're moving in this type of direction, which is never good, by the way. So there was some disdain between the two parties, you know what I'm saying? So yeah. Fast forward to recently, and basically Marquise Jackson was on Choke No Jokes stream, and he was just talking about how he was getting $6,700 a month from 50, but that's not enough living in New York State. Now I want to stop right there, right? Because mind you, he's saying this, right, as a 25-year-old man. Keyword man in this situation. Now let's do some numbers real quick. All right, let's put some math together. We're talking $6,700 a month, right? And keep in mind, this is just $6,700 from his dad. You know what I'm saying? Which means his mom's is supposed to be putting up the other half, of her support for the kid. You know what I'm saying? It's not. People gotta understand this, and I really didn't want to get into a conversation about child support, but here we are. Child support is really that child support money that is supposed to support the child between his younger years, from his formative years to when he turns 18. Personal note, when my parents split up, my mom's had to pay child support because she ended up leaving and breaking up, and the way things worked out, that's how it ended up working out. So my mom's ended up having to pay child support for that stretch of time between when I was like about 14, 15 until about like 18, which was a whole thing. But yeah, that had to go down. So yeah, basically getting into that, like, you gotta understand, when it comes down to child support, is really it just for the kid. It's not for the mom to go out and buy weaves, buy sandals, spitting on her next broke dude that she's swinging on. So when you look at that, it's kind of a crazy thing. People get that misconstrued. So I wanted to make that clear. So let's get back into this money situation real quick. All right, guys. $6,700 a month, right? Times 12. So basically, you're getting a grand total a year just from the father side of $80,400 a month, right? And to some, it seems like, all right, it seems like it's, not that much. For some people, they feel like it's not that much, but I feel like the problem when you talk about people on the internet and everything, you kind of misconstrue how much is what. You forget that, there's average people making average money. You understand? And you really gotta get your head out of that real quick, because there's a lot of people that's, not making that type of money. $80,000 a year is a pretty big stretch, especially when you're talking about like average income, in America, and not only in the city but in America. So you're probably wondering, like, hey, average income in America, what's that right now? Overall, between men and women, average income in America is $63,214 according to World Population Review. Now, that might include with some inflation and everything like that, but at the same time, right now, going into 2022, the average personal income in the U.S. is a little bit over 63,000, with the median income across the country being 44, right? So you're looking anywhere from 44 to 63. Nowhere in there, you're nowhere near $80,000. Excuse me. You're nowhere near $80,000, right? So he was talking about, to be fair, Marquise was talking about, well, in New York City, you have to make, is $80,000, 6,700 is not going to be enough. And I'm glad he mentioned that. I really am glad that he mentioned that, because, to be fair, area median income, according to NYC Gov, the area median income for New York is about $120,000, over $120,000. But to be fair, in 2021, the average annual pay of employees in New York totaled to a little bit over $88,000. So when you look at it, is that $80,000 is literally the average to live in a city. Now, to be fair, you don't have to live in a city. You know what I'm saying? You could live upstate, you could live in the burbs, and still make a pretty decent amount of change. You can still make $80,000 work, especially in the suburbs. You know what I'm saying? Out in Poughkeepsie, you sit there, like, average income is a little bit less than that. So if you're coming up there with $80,000 annually, you could do a little bit. You know what I'm saying? You could put together a little something. Here's the thing. And I feel like this is kind of the difference when it comes down to 50 and his son. Yes, they look alike, but one thing I can say just by hearing him talk about this shit is that, he doesn't have that hustle mentality. And I know people be like, oh, well, people are going to make what they're going to make. Yeah, granted. But number one, if you feel you can't make $80,000 work, at least in the tri-state area, then yeah, you're not moving your money smart enough. You're not setting yourself up smart enough. You know what I'm saying? At a certain point, when you're making a certain amount of money, you got to make it work for you. You know what I'm saying? So that way everything could work out. So, after that interview came out, 50 Cent was out here trolling, and he states the following. According to Yahoo Entertainment, after dropping a subtle response to his son's child support claims, I think he did a video regarding that whole situation. Uncle Murder came to the hotel room talking about, hey, I don't ask you for much, but can I get it's possible I could just, get $6,700 a month, real quick. And they kind of just laughed it off, So, but he ended up touching, on this in the video. So he says, in just real simple, quote, fuck, this nigga's crazy. You 25 years old. Why are you still talking about child support? And I'm gonna be honest with you, unquote. And I'm gonna be honest with you. 50 got a valid point. Typically, you should stop talking about child support at 19. Because you really can't really get that anymore. You understand? You're not a child anymore. You're a legal adult by that time. So for you to come out as a 25-year-old man crying about child support is bonkers to me. Because I'm like, listen, at 25, when I was 25, I was out here working. I was on my bullshit too, to be fair. But I was still out here getting the bag. Now, it wasn't $80,000 worth of a bag, but I was still out here getting it nonetheless, And I'm gonna be honest with you, sometimes you have to do what you have to do, and I don't think, especially in the city, you really got to do what you have to do, because it's the big difference between getting money and being homeless. That's a thin line in this city. You could be getting money one day out here, and the next day, you right at 125th in Lexington, trying to catch that bus to go to the shelter. If you know, you know. So yeah, it just sounds crazy to me, as a man, to see another man, complain about his dad not giving him enough money for child support. As a 25-year-old man, you got to make it work now. You're grown. But then things got a little bit personal. So basically, 50 Cent's son comes to find out 50 Cent's son is offering $6,700 to spend a day with his dad. And he says, and this is according to Yahoo Entertainment. Actually, no. This is coming off his Instagram. I'm sorry. It's coming right off his Instagram. And he's saying, quote, since y'all think $6,700 is so much money, someone tell my pops I'll pay him $6,700 for just 24 hours of his time so we can do everything I ever wanted to do with him as a kid. Red, yellow, green, whatever color he liked, unquote. And he even flipped his dad's notorious broke Instagram photo where he had the $100 bills and it all spelled out broke. He actually kind of did a twist to that, a little flip to that, when he put the $100 worth of $100 in words and spelled out entitled. Which honestly, kind of is. I'm sorry. You can't side with, for me, can't side with your moms and take pics with the ops, with your pop's ops, you know what I'm saying? And expect to now try to build back that relationship. It's tough. Now, to be fair, family's family, and family should be able to patch things up, but let's be real. How many times family is going to tell you to kiss your ass, you know what I'm saying, before you stop putting your ass out? You understand? Now, what's unfortunate about this, and I hate going worst case scenario with this because, you should never have to go that far, but to be fair, there's something to really think about. If they be God forbid something happened to either one of them, and then they ended up beefing like this, you got to think about it now like this too. It's like, all right, the time that you had with each other, you could have spent trying to patch this shit up, but instead you're out here beefing. You're out here, going back and forth. And I'm gonna be honest with you, that's never good. There's a lot of things that we wish we could patch up and everything like that, especially when somebody's gone or somebody's out of our life completely. And honestly, you never want to get to that point where you're now regretting that you didn't do those things, no matter what they did. You know what I'm saying? Because when they're gone, you're gonna wish for that time back. Now, to be fair, his son is trying to be on some petty shit, and he's trying to be on some petty shit with his father. And the worst part about it is, we already know 50's petty. So it's one thing to be petty and broke. It's a completely other thing to be petty, rich, and you're beefing with somebody that don't fuck with you. You know what I'm saying? Me personally, I'm already petty as is, right? Really am. As a regular guy, and I'm just a regular guy. I'm really petty as is. But if I feel like if I had real money, and if I ain't fuck with you, I'm be honest with you, you're gonna have plenty of bad days, because I actually got not only that I'm petty, but I actually got money to sit there and fund my pettiness, and that's never good. But when you're talking about family, you do want to at least, I can see where he's going to try to at least patch things up. I don't think it's going to be patched up, but I do feel that the conversation does have to be had. And I've been telling people all week, if you could at least have the conversation and see where things go, then I think that's worth something. You know what I'm saying? If it goes the way you want it to go, great. If it doesn't, that's great too. You're more than welcome to agree to disagree. But at the end of the day, you gotta at least have the conversation. And I'm gonna be honest, I really do hope that they do, talk it out and patch it up, because a lot of times fathers get the bad rap of not being there and everything, and sometimes fathers aren't there. But sometimes the fathers aren't there because the mother allows it for mother places a situation for him not to be there. So we have to look at it as that as well. But yeah, it is a tough situation because you're looking at family and you don't want families apart, especially with Black families. We gotta do better. We definitely gotta do better. Hey, what up? It's your boy Aaron Sands, and I know you're enjoying this episode of King Talk right now, but I want to dive in a little bit and talk about the Premier Boys podcast. You got me, Aaron Sands, Ken the Gentleman, the homie Roddy Rod, and long live the Chief Mally Mal, all in the building, talking about the hottest entertainment topics, the hottest news topics, and giving our own take on what's going on out here in these streets. It can get raunchy. It could get crazy. You might even be talking about somebody's mama. Who knows? But every Wednesday at midnight, check us out on Apple, Good Pods. Don't forget to drop that 5-star rating and all wherever else you hear your podcast. Now back to the show, man. I want to take the time to thank everybody for tuning in to King Talk with Aaron Sands. You already know what it is. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns or anything that I've discussed in tonight's episode, leave it in the comment box below. I'll look at it. Best comments that I see, I will definitely comment back and talk about these topics with you. In the meantime, if you want to follow me, You're trying to look for me. Follow me on IG at Aaron Sands Premier. Link in the description. Twitter, King Talk Sands. Link in the description. Good Pods, King Talk Sands. Link in the description for all 3 social media sites. Listen, that's all I got this week. Tune in next week. Be back on Fridays. 1 episode a week. You already know what it is. It's King Talk Sands, your man's Aaron Sands, and you already know what it is. If it's Friday, it's damn sure King Talk. Thanks again. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Peace.
What's up, world? This is the Chief Mally Mal. Long live the Chief. And you're tuned in to King Talk with Mr. Aaron Sands. Don't go nowhere, baby.